Many other items from Trump's eerie past are now making a comeback, such as this 2006 clip of Trump on The Howard Stern Show. Do you believe you could be hitting on 24-year-olds right now? Oh, of course. Are you willing to do it? I don't have any issues. Is there an age restriction, or would you know? No, I'm not old. They enter the changing room of a teenage beauty competition. After all, whoa, Trump made this blatant justification because he was furious over the letter's publication. I'm not this person. I didn't write the recently. Stephen Colbert released a surprising information about Ivanka and Donald Trump that calls into question the public's long-standing perception of them as father and daughter. He sent shockwaves through his audience. By supporting his arguments with visual proof, this goes beyond mere rumors. Core is determined to find the whole truth. This is only one part, according to reports of a more extensive tale about Trump's purported connections to Jeffrey Epstein. According to insiders, Colbert is prepared to make everything public as his time as a host comes to an end. Punish. Please. I mentioned Ivanka, hurry up. You know, he can't be that bad a guy. They will occasionally comment. Take a look at Ivanka. Come on up now. Miles Taylor, a former administration official, made unsettling allegations about Trump's inappropriate behavior toward his daughter Ivanka in a book that served as Stephen Colbert's first piece of evidence against the president. Years ago, Taylor made headlines when he claimed in an anonymous New York Times op that opposed Trump. Inside, when Taylor was revealed, the enthusiasm that many had been building that the author was someone well-known, like Melania Trump, subsided. Diaz's opposition was mainly symbolic at the time, and his chief of staff was not part of Trump's inner circle. The Department of Justice has been digitizing and rewriting the interview transcripts. Yes, they probably have. Use CTRLF to find Gayle King in place of Donald Trump. Miles Taylor has been in the public eye for years, presenting shocking allegations regarding Trump's actions that take place behind closed doors. According to Taylor's book Blowback, Trump made offensive statements about his daughter Ivanka, citing inappropriate remarks about her intimacy and body. According to reports, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly had to remind Trump that she was his daughter since the comments were so upsetting, even though there isn't any solid evidence. These claims further polarized Trump's already contentious legacy. However, Mark Epstein, Epstein's brother, claims that Jeffrey claimed he stopped spending time with Trump after realizing he was a liar. Whoa, that's amazing. The notion that Trump said unsettling things, it's not unrealistic to talk privately about his daughter. For decades, he has made disturbing remarks about Ivanka in public, such as claiming that she has the best figure and that he may date her if she weren't his daughter. Among the numerous women Trump has objectified is Ivanka. Although he publicly displays a lot of misogyny, Miles Taylor asserts that there are still a lot of obscene instances that have not come to light. Regarding the terrible treatment and double standards they experienced under Trump, a number of former female leaders from his government have remained silent. She is excellent. She was determined to go. Dad, can I accompany you? She said. In fact, she said, Daddy, could I accompany you? Isn't that nice? Could I accompany you, Daddy? Yes, you can, I replied. Where are you going? North Dakota. Oh, I like North Dakota. I said, hello, sweetheart. Baby, say something. Hello, North Dakota. Since speaking forward would unleash a barrage of scathing attacks from Trump and his supporters, many women have refrained from coming up. Additionally, they have seen that his actions have not harmed his political standing. Indeed, it has frequently contributed to his ascent. Take columnist E. Jean Carroll's advice. Trump was convicted guilty by a New York jury of sexually abusing her almost 30 years ago. Carroll chillingly responded that the more women who accused him, the better he did in his first presidential campaign. When asked why she remained silent, the polls. There you have it. There you have it. According to reports, Trump officials are thinking of making the details of Blanche's interview public while they bury the truth in a shallow grave. Even if they're worried about whether the interview's specifics would be discovered, held accountable for sexual abuse, and mandated to reimburse, Trump's public misogyny was not lessened by Carroll's $5 million. It gave him confidence. At a CNN town hall the following day, he called Carroll a whack job and insulted her. Surprisingly, some audience members chuckled when the jury convicted him culpable. The moderator reminded them, Trump's misogyny is obviously unimportant to his supporters. Will they, however, respond to claims that he went too far by having an affair with his own daughter, his enigmatic customers, and his dubious demise? However, currently Donald Trump suddenly seems determined to keep us in the dark about the identities of EP. Jeffrey Epstein's clients for reasons I am unable to conceive of legally. He really stated yesterday that he was shocked that anyone was even interested in the man. Why they would be so interested is beyond me. He is no longer alive. These same individuals have been accusing the trans community of grooming and have become fixated on a fictitious thread. They even get outraged over a children's book about seahorses because of its details about mating, and they try to get literature concerning race or gender identity banned. However, they vote for a man who supposedly fantasizes about his own daughter and pays off women without any issues. The file contains him. The president was told in May by Attorney General Pam Bondi that his name was in the Epstein files, but he said he barely knew the man, according to the Wall Street Journal. Ivanka Trump's apparent hint at a tense relationship with her father, President Donald Trump, in a social media post is another piece of evidence that Stephen Colbert brought to light. In an interview, a former Trump administration official who is said to have had a contentious relationship with Melania Trump, the president's third wife, discussed her plan to leave politics in 2022. She emphasized that the decision was in line with her basic beliefs and said it was an easy one. Would provide the Epstein bringing the controversy back to the forefront. Returning to the surface, man, it's far above the surface. The level of disagreement around this issue is really high. The two people that matter most, the 8-year-old full of dreams and the 8-year-old full of memories, was of course the original post caption. Both are now observing you. Excellent thread. Ivanka shared the tweet, stating that after 5 years of advising her father, she now prioritizes providing him with emotional support over political guidance. As his daughter, I'm excited to be there for him and help him unwind by watching a movie or a game with each other. In a recent interview with the Skinny Confidential podcast, the mother of 3 stated, "It would be like stepping into a Rudy Giuliani intervention if Jeffrey Epstein ended things with you because you are a crook." In an interview with CNN, Mark Epstein, the brother, also discussed the strong relationship between his brother and Trump. They performed well. The first daughter, 43, has publicly stated that she despises politics, calling it a harsh and challenging environment. Ivanka focused on encouraging entrepreneurship, workforce development, and skill training to boost economic growth and create jobs during Donald Trump's presidency. She also supported women and their families' access to education and economic empowerment. Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband and a senior advisor to the president, addressed both domestic and international issues, while Ivanka concentrated mostly on domestic ones. According to a Gallup poll, Elon Musk is the nation's most despised public figure. At this moment, I want to know if that survey is correct or if you miss having him around the White House. The accuracy of the poll is unknown to me. He seems like a decent guy to me. I believe he had a rough day, an awful moment. Well, he's a decent guy. In the midst of all of this, I think President Donald Trump's increasingly strange public appearances, such as his recent unprovoked tirade over windmills on his trip to the UK and his recent unsubstantiated allegations that his uncle met the Unabomber, have rekindled worries about his mental health. Experts observe that Trump has been acting strangely during press conferences, interviews, campaign events, and impromptu comments for more than a year. He regularly veers off subject. For example, he seemed to forget important details about his personal and political life during a recent cabinet meeting where he spent 15 minutes talking about Decker. I am your Stephen Colbert is the host. Look, I'm not sure. Yes, hello friends, I'm not sure what you're all talking about, but everyone I spoke to was discussing topics that Donald Trump doesn't want to discuss. So, let's discuss it. It's the conspiracy, I guess. Around his former Joe Biden's decision to not run for re-election was influenced by the harsh criticism he received throughout his presidency regarding his mental acuity, particularly following a dismal debate performance in June 2024. Trump, on the other hand, has mostly avoided the same kind of scrutiny despite persistent indications of confusion, such as Harrison's trip to the UK. Trump unexpectedly changed the topic of immigration at a meeting with President Ursula von der Leyen of the European Commission over the weekend. He said that the US would never let a windmill because they are killing people and destroying the country's landscape. I've always believed that Donald Trump is incapable of passing an AP course in high school history class. Donald Trump's inability to pass any test in any high school history subject has long been recognized. However, we now know that he was unable to pass any history tests throughout my 3rd grade year at St. Brendan's. Trump falsely complained about windmills for 2 continuous minutes. They harm birds and make whales mad. They say, actually, compared 2 power lines or cats. Turbines kill a lot less birds. According to Cornell psychology instructor Harry Siegel, Trump's frequent, uncontrollable topic changes reveal a lack of coherence in his thinking. Despite doubts regarding his mental health, Trump has disregarded them, boasted about passing simple cognitive tests that were later shown to screen for early dementia, and referring to himself as a stable genius. Buddy Epstein, Jeffrey, there you have it. A number of senior officials in Trump's administration have been in government for years, including before he was re-elected, and more recently when they all took office. The administration's repeated pledges to make the documents pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein public have increased concerns of Trump's mental health by his enigmatic Democrats, like California Governor Gavin Newsom and Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett. When questioned this week about aid to Gaza, Trump appeared perplexed and forgot the contributions of others. He lied when he said that the US sent $60 million 2 weeks ago, and they claimed that no one thanked them, claiming that only we gave and that no European nations did. Donald is known to have taken several flights aboard Jeff's aircraft. I know Jeff flew on Donald's jet, but I'm not sure if they ever checked. Correct. In all of this, I keep forgetting. Trump flew in his own aircraft. Why would you ever fly? You have your own plane. Trump seemed to have forgotten or been oblivious to the fact that other nations have given Gaza aid. The European Union provided 195 million euros in relief, and the United Kingdom announced an aid package worth $80 million in July. But The Guardian discovered there is no evidence that the US sent 60 million euros to Gaza 2 weeks ago. As Trump said, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a non-profit backed by US and Israeli interests but denounced by Democrats for alleged ties to fatal violence against starving civilians in Gaza, received a $30 million grant from the US State Department in June. The inquiries concerning Trump's purported $60 million donation were not answered by the White House. Could Donald Trump's recent spate of blunders be an indication of cognitive decline? Richard Friedman, a psychiatrist from Germany, believes so. From perplexing political leaders to Trump's mistakes, including his confused responses, are causing grave worries. Examine the possible implications of these indications for the former president. Siegel clarified that confabulation is another indication of Trump's dubious mental acuity, when someone embellishes an idea or event with embellishments that never materialize. One prominent instance was when Trump asserted that Ted Kaczynski, also known as the Anabber, was trained at MIT by his late uncle, Professor John Trump. Claimed that when he asked his uncle about Kaczynski's character as a student, the uncle said, "Seriously, good," and that he would then go around correcting everyone. But this story can't be real. In 1985, John Trump passed away. However, it was not until 1996 that Kaczynski was officially recognized as the Unabomber. Moreover, Kaczynski never went to MIT. They'll say he was rambling. You see, he suffers from cognitive impairment. Actually, the reverse is true. It's really brilliant. It is, you know that. It's really brilliant. He went on and on. These fakers up there. Despite the story's incoherence, Trump relates it with warmth, as though recalling the past. According to Siegel, this indicates a serious deterioration in mental capacity. Trump's inability to concentrate goes beyond confabulation. He once swayed to music on stage for 40 minutes following a medical emergency during the 2024 campaign. His meandering talks, which he refers to as the weave, attracted a lot of attention. Official transcripts of his statements were taken down by the White House in May, claiming consistency, but reading them shows how he speaks on a regular basis. We were aware of that historical sequence in Boston and Dorchester. In the 3rd grade, what was the first? The Revolutionary War and the Declaration of Independence. First, a distant third to those events was the Civil War, which came in second. Trump recently babbled about meeting with foreign leaders and reducing regulations when asked about his next campaign pledge. Instead of raising concerns, his ambiguous comments have stoked debate and derision. He has been associated with, particularly after being captured on camera, Stephen Colbert's new allegations against Trump and his daughter, together with the fact that there are far too many women, have drawn attention. For now, that's all. Turn on alerts and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the most recent political updates. Till the next occasion.com.